Hello, hello. We're doing something a little bit different tonight. We're having a little bit of ambiance. I've actually wanted to do a video on YouTube from my couch for a while. So I'm really excited about just being comfortable and having this conversation, giving you some tips and tools and tricks and whatever else comes up and comes out, because we don't do edits around here. But tonight we're going to be talking about how to stop attracting people that use you. And if you've been looking at what's going on the channel, it's been a theme this week, right? We've been talking about being taken for granted. And, it stands to reason that there are some things that we need to explore along this topic. I'm ready. Are you? Hold on. My name is Stephanie D. McKenzie, and I am still your favorite empowerment coach, coming to you live from my couch, where I am very, very comfortable and excited to talk with you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and flip over here. I'm doing a lot of experimenting tonight, okay? So if something looks crazy, please drop it in the comments. If you can't see, or if the sound goes out or something, just communicate with me and let me know, okay? I promise you guys that I will definitely, zhuzh up the couch conversations, if you will. But tonight I said, you know what, I want to try this. I want to see if we have the right lighting, because there's quite a few pieces of equipment that are in my house and where I record. And so I was like, okay, well, let's see if we have the right amount of everything. And so I see we've got kind of a little bit of a night ambiance situation, which I think is great. But I think what I want to do in the future is maybe backlight this and all of that, since we don't have any natural light coming in. But you let me know. How do you like how things are set up? There's even a card behind me from my mom. So hello, Mom, how are you? Anyway, like I said, tonight we're going to talk about how to stop attracting people that use you. And I think that's really important, because again, if you've been on the channel, and those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. If you simply came and watched a video and liked it and maybe, left a comment, thank you for that as well. I do realize that subscribing is a little bit of a commitment. So I really want you to engage with the content and see if it moves you, if it excites you in any way before you subscribe, because I really want you to watch. I don't want you to just subscribe for the sake of subscribing, right? I want us to have a relationship. I want you to feel as if I'm somebody that can pour into you, and then we have a relationship, right? I think people jump into relationships way too fast these days, and you can take that any way you'd like. So, so anyway, I'll tell you what's coming up on the channel. We're definitely going to be making some changes as we go into March. And I want you to know that. But listen, I have spent all of February, since February the 2nd, we have given you daily content. Daily content. So that means, I think at last count I saw was like 36 videos that you can watch. And so what would really be meaningful to me is that if you watch something and you feel like, wow, that was helpful, make sure that you share it, tag a friend, comment, etc., and then keep coming back. See if you like what I'm putting out, because we have Live Empowered, and we have, what's the other category? Love Empowered. And then we have Work Empowered, but we call it Empowered at Work because I just like the way that sounds better. And what else? We have some meditations on the channel, and we're going to be coming up with some other things. I'm doing a visual lesson on Friday, and you're probably saying, what's a visual lesson? Well, you'll know on Friday. So make sure that you're coming back. I would love to have you as a part of our family, which is growing. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to be here with you guys. So listen, I think it's really important that I dispel a myth, because I actually used to believe this wholeheartedly, as if it was the end all be all. And that was that you attract what you are. I'm sure you've heard that, right? You attract what you are. So if you're attracting, and it kind of has a twist to it, right? Because if you are an empath, you might be attracting narcissists. If you are a giver, you're attracting takers. If you have low self-esteem, you might actually be attracting people with low self-esteem. So, I mean, there's a twist to it, right? But I'm sure many of you have heard this before. And if you have, just say I have in the comments. Okay, great. But I want to give you some things to think about tonight. Okay. And guys, you know, I don't really want to do long videos. I feel like short form content is the way to go. My fellow creators can attest to that. I have some longer videos on the site only because they were repurposed. But I will tell you, in 36 videos, only 8 this weekend. After the 2 that we post this weekend, only 8 would have been repurposed. So this is all fresh content. So nothing that's been in my groups, nothing that's been on Facebook, nothing that I've done with clients, none of that. It's all brand spanking new, because that's how much I love you guys. You know, that's how much I love you. I want to be connected with you and give you fresh content, and every now and then give you a splash of bootleg content. And I hope that's okay. So again, people say, okay, well, you attract what you are. And I'm like, well, not always. You know, I think we have to be willing to recognize that just because we've attracted somebody in that would use us or would take us for granted, or that otherwise is not treating us the way we deserve to be treated, which is well, that doesn't mean that there's something that's inherently wrong with us. Sometimes you have a light that is shining so brightly that people are attracted to you like a moth to a flame. Sometimes that's what that is. Sometimes there's a lesson that you need to learn, or maybe sometimes you need to see how far you've actually come. So there's not always something wrong with you. And I really want to dispel that myth, because I think when we leave the narrative at you attract what you are, that means that, you know, if you're attracting dysfunction, you're thinking in some shape, form, or fashion, gosh, there must be something dysfunctional about me. But I'm going to help you out. Okay. I'm going to give you some tips. So here's the thing. And this is something that I have found to be very helpful for myself. All right. So I'm giving you things that I use. I'm not just, you know, rattling off things that I think sound good or that I read somewhere. Hey, how you doing, Miss Tabra? So I haven't done this on my phone before. Hey, it works the same way. Look, guys. So you got to love it when you try out new technology and new things. So, all right. So Tevra, let me know how things are sounding, looking, all of that good stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here's how I check to see, you know, if I have attracted in something because I may not be operating at my full and favorite self. I may not be operating in that energy, in that space. So this is what I normally do. If you realize, I mean, if you're really true about it, right? You've probably realized that people that are using you, they're usually flaky, they'll be unavailable. You'll feel like you're not a priority. Let me know if any of this is resonating. If it is, put yes in the comments. And so because of that, when you start to be on the receiving end of that type of treatment, then if you want to check and see if it's a case of you attracting what you are, ask yourself, hey, my complaint is that this person acts like I'm not a priority, like I'm not important to them. Okay, so Stephanie says, are you treating yourself as a priority? Are you being flaky on yourself? Are you flaking out on the things that you want to do, the things that matter to you? And so when you ask yourself these questions, you're really taking your complaint and turning it inward. Now, I am in no way absolving that person of their behavior. Again, I will say this until the day I can't say it anymore. No one has the right to treat you any way but well, okay? But in that, sometimes we have to take a minute to take inventory to realize whether that person is really rejecting us or projecting their energy onto us. Definitely appreciate you saying that. Love a good comment. Thank you so much, my dear. So what I say to you is that at that moment, right, you use their flaky, unappreciative, not mutually beneficial energy to gauge where you are. And then my thing has always been if it's a yes or is it a no. So once I ask myself that question that's based on the way that they're acting, things change based on my answer. Because sometimes I have been able to say, okay, Steph, that's me. Yeah, you kind of have been treating yourself like you're not a priority. You kind of have been flaky with yourself. So if yes, I'm going to give you two sides, right? If yes and if no. So if yes, I got my handy notes. You guys know I love notes sometimes. That to me is a call to put the focus back on you. That person is reflecting what you're not giving to yourself. And based on the questions that you just asked yourself, you now recognize that you aren't necessarily loving yourself and caring for yourself at the best level. So what does that mean? You put the focus on you. Pull your energy back from trying to figure out what's wrong with them, right? And you put the focus back on you. You make you a priority. You stop ghosting your goals. Do we need to talk about that? Because at some point you got to be honest, right? You've got to be honest. How many times have you said, you know what? I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to start eating differently. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start blah, 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 blah. I'm going to start or stop blah, 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 blah. How many times have you ghosted your goals? And the goal is looking around going, well, what happened to you? And you're like, now you look like a 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 meme, or is it a GIF, or is it a GIF? Whatever. You look like, I don't know. You have no words because you've been out here ghosting your goals. Have I been treating myself like a priority? Yes, absolutely. That is a real question. And see, here's the thing with me is that you have, as a coach, I'm always asking questions. That's what I do. And that's what a good coach should do. They should really ask questions. Consultants tell, mentors tell a little bit, advisors definitely tell, coaches should ask. And so I am pretty adept, so I hear, at the art of asking questions, right? And so for me, if someone is treating me a particular way, I'm like, let's take that complaint and turn it inward. Because my question, what I'm trying to figure out is, are they rejecting you or are they projecting to you? Because if they are truly rejecting you, then your answer, when you decide to ask yourself those very same questions, your answer is going to be no. I have had those moments where my answer was no. Make sure I'm not missing. Okay, good. Where it was like, well, Stephanie, this person is not showing up for you. This person is not acting in a way that makes you feel a particular way, that makes you feel valuable, that makes you feel loved, that makes you feel cared for. Are you doing that to yourself? And I can emphatically say, no, that is not how I'm caring for myself. So in that, because, you know, one of the things that has been annoying me as of lately is and I wish I had the lady's account. There's a lady on TikTok. She's beautiful, brown skin, Black woman with a nose ring. And she is giving a different perspective on people maybe mistreating other people. I wish I may have to put that in the comments because I really like the work that she's doing, because I feel the same way. I'm really tired of seeing so-called experts, relationship experts, dating experts, life coaches give people the same advice, which is basically, well, if they're not treating you right, then they're toxic and you need to move on. Well, here's the thing, people. There are no absolutes when it comes to relationships, except in the case of abuse. That's where there's an absolute. Let the first time be the last time, and you hightail it out of there as best you can. Okay, sometimes it may take a little bit more time because let's be honest, abusers have a cycle, they have behaviors, they have a strategy. And if they have exacted that strategy upon you, you may not be able to leave at the first sign of heightened abuse. But you can get your strategy together and you can get out. But I'm really tired of everybody. The answer to everything is, oh, they're toxic. Oh, they're toxic. Oh, they're toxic. Oh, they're toxic, or they're a narcissist. And I'm like, people, let me say this with love. We, as in me and you, can all be toxic. We all have narcissistic tendencies. Home Alone face. So I'm really tired of people who claim to be experts telling you that if somebody does this, it's because of this. If somebody does this, it's because of this. You know, when I wrote my first book, it was called The Book of Bi. And it was, I think, like 10 things that might be reasons to end it, but that you might not have thought were a big deal, blah, 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 blah. It has a very long subtitle, and it's on Amazon. One of the things I was really mindful about in that book was giving people options. You know, mend it. And so what in the book, if I recall correctly, there were all these little vignettes, these little stories and scenarios. And at the end of those stories, it said, mend it if, end it if. And it gave you a long list of options, because one of the things in dealing with the topic known as empowerment, I don't want to disempower you with blanketed information and sweeping generalizations, because that's not always the case. So in that, when you're asking these questions about how they're treating you, trying to make a determination whether this person is rejecting you or projecting them, then there's even more questions. So if my answer is yes, then absolutely you bring your energy back into you. And then we can revisit that relationship once you're back in balance. Because I have seen people change the status and the depth of their relationship simply by caring for themselves. I have clients that do that all the time. They do. Be it a personal relationship, I can't talk today, or be it even professionally. I've seen people do that. Okay, great. But if the answer is an emphatic no, because I've had those moments where it was an emphatic no, I'm not doing any of that to myself, then I have new questions, because I'm a coach and that's what I do. I ask questions. And one of my questions is, why are you allowing this? Why are you allowing this person to exact this type of behavior upon you? Are you being compassionate, or are you being something I call hyper compassionate? And in my experience as a coach and as a healer as well, anytime I add the word hyper to anything, that means more than likely it's a trauma response. But I will tell you, if you're allowing this behavior because you know somebody is in pain and you're trying to give them compassion, okay, great, but check yourself and make sure that you haven't stumbled into the downward spiral of being hyper compassionate because they have triggered you. And though you may be caring for yourself very well in the present moment, that person's behavior has triggered you in a way that you are now trying to overcompensate by being overly compassionate, to the point where you give them all the passes. And listen, as someone who did that, I don't want to be in that position again. I don't want to be in that position again. Okay. So there's that. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in the energy of giving people the benefit of the doubt. And I've always said, at least for the last few years, giving people the benefit of the doubt is a trauma response. A trauma response? Stephanie, what do you mean it's a trauma response? I'm being a nice person. I'm a nice person. No, you were never created to be nice. First of all, let me put that out there. Kind, yes. Nice, no. But I truly believe that oftentimes we give people the benefit of the doubt because we don't feel entitled to how we truly feel about this person, because we don't want to accept that this person may not have capacity. We don't want to accept that this person may actually be sketchy and shady. We don't want to accept that. And that can be in any context, personally or professionally, or even entrepreneurially. I remember, doling out the benefit of the doubt. Like I was at Mardi Gras throwing beads, and I've never been to Mardi Gras, right? But you didn't know that about me, but have I been to Mardi Gras? Maybe. I don't think so, though. I don't remember throwing beads. But I'm literally doling out the benefit of the doubt in my professional life, in my entrepreneurial life. Which is why I said in the first video of being taken for granted that someone to this day, it can be really dangerous. To this day, somebody owes me $8,000. Listen, people, I know I will never see that money, but I bring it up to share with you that my inability to see somebody for who they were and probably who they are cost me not only the time, but money. It cost me money. It could have cost me the ability to pay. Actually, it did cost me the ability to pay one of my partners on a particular project. I'm gonna put that up there, Trevor. The benefit of the doubt can be super dangerous. And so if you're feeling that somebody may be incapable of giving you what you so richly deserve, then don't give them the benefit of the doubt. If you see what you see, again, if it quacks and it's got webbed feet and it says Aflac, it's a duck. Don't try to turn it into, you know, a pet teacup something. Don't do that, because that's not going to help you. The benefit of the doubt is dangerous, because ultimately what you're saying when you give somebody the benefit of the doubt is that you are not entitled to your opinion of them, even though you may have been sitting back watching this person week after week, month after month, and they are consistently inconsistent. Guess what? You want to give them the benefit of the doubt that at some point they're going to be consistent. No, they're not. They are consistently inconsistent. You have to accept that. I feel like I've gotten off track. Am I rambling? Possibly. Exactly. When people show you who they are, in the words of the late, great Maya Angelou, believe them the first time. But listen, that doesn't just go for bad things. That goes for good things too. I think a lot of people are missing out on amazing opportunities and amazing connections because they can't accept goodness in the form of the people or a person that they have connected with. That's just my 22 cents on the matter. Okay. Okay. Let me see this. Yes, I'm scratching my ear. For those of you who don't know, my birthday was this past weekend and I got a new piercing. And if you know anything about healing a piercing, they itch a little bit. So I am not scratching. I am very gently massaging the area. Y'all, I had to tell you, I really try to be somewhat professional when I do these videos, right? Because what I want to do is to share this information with you, and I want other people to see it, and I want them to be so moved that, you know, maybe they actually want me to come and impart some wisdom to them. But I gotta tell you guys, I'm silly. I'm super silly, and those of you who know me personally, you know I'm really silly. So I'm not going to not be silly for the sake of being professional. This is me being professional. Okay. All right. So so we've asked the question and our answer is no. So then I go back to, why are you, listen, there it is. That's the jewel for the evening. Why are you allowing this? And if it's because you know somebody's in a lot of pain and you want to give them some wiggle room, great. If that's compassion, if you are going above and beyond to let this person treat you in a way that you wouldn't allow anybody else to treat you, that's hyper compassion. And I've been there. Listen. Listen, listen, listen. Hey, hey, hey. Well, hello. Oh my goodness. Now, let me make sure I'm saying this right. Is it 𝗂𝗏? I think it's 𝗂𝗏. Open Door Hypnosis TV is here in the house. Amazing channel with amazing content. She too is empowering you, and she is getting into the mind, body, and everything so that you can be more powerful in your life. And that's what this season is about. Honestly, this season is about healing your mind and your body so that you can literally walk out your calling in this season. Many of you are called, and I've said this before, because 22 is the number of partnership. 𝗂𝗏. I got it. Okay, 𝗂𝗏. So many of you are being called into partnership. But listen, you know, run over to her channel. Make sure you subscribe and support her. She's got amazing content that will help you, that will enrich you. I'm not even going to say empower you. It will enrich you and allow you to come into being, because one of the most beautiful things, I think, is when you come into being your full and favorite self, and then you get to connect with someone else who's also operating as their full and favorite self. So for those of you who are just tuning in, I decided to do something different, and I have a little bit more of a relaxed ambiance versus being in the other room. And so that might be why the lighting's just a little bit different. It's a little bit dark. I've got a little bit of a romantic vibe happening here. But like I said, why are you allowing this? If you're saying, no, I'm treating myself well, I'm making myself a priority, I am doing all of the things I need to do to care for myself, to love myself. Self-love is not an event for me, it's a lifestyle. I'm just here to help, my dear. I'm just here to help. I try to do what I can. So, and I love sharing people that are doing great things. So, you know, you top that list, my dear. So if you're saying, no, I'm not doing any of these things that this person is doing to me, then why are you allowing this? And if it's compassion, great. If it's hyper compassion, then you're going to need to check that. And then if you say, okay, let's say it is compassion. What do you need to do to not feel used? To not feel as if you're being taken advantage of? Are you being too accessible? Are you taking all of their calls? Are you being overly helpful? Do you need to pull back your energy? Well, Stephanie, you said to pull back my energy if the answer was yes. I'm like, honey, you can always pull back your energy. Because our goal in all of these things is to operate in reciprocity, in balance. That's our goal, right? Because if you have been, let's say, you know, let's say you have been doing a lot for this person because you like to do a lot, okay? That's completely fine until you get to the point where your motive is that you're actually doing all of these things because you want to prove to them how loyal you are or what a great partner you'll be, or et cetera, et cetera. I've told you that we're not proving for the choosing. That's not what we're doing. We are no longer doggies in the window. We're not doing that. We're not smiling really big so somebody will choose us and take us home. No, the doggy in the window season has passed. It is done. The best thing that you can do for yourself in order to not attract people that will use you or that will, you know, or that will take you for granted is to operate as your full and favorite self every day and be unwavering in your desire to treat yourself well, period. Trevor says hello. And reciprocity. You know, and listen, I know some of you will catch this on the replay and you're going to have questions. And I mean, that's fine. Please make sure you drop them in the comments. If this is your first time here, I don't want to ask you to subscribe. If you like the video, it does say subscribe, but you know what? Take your time, get to know me a little bit and see if you like the way you pick up what I'm putting down. Let's just say that, right? So like this video, please drop your comments. I love that. But I think ultimately, for us to not attract in people that will use us and take us for granted is that at the first sign, okay, at the first sign of imbalance, we sit back and we say, okay, what's going on here? Shocking. Maybe you even have a conversation with the person. Check yourself first and then have a conversation with the person. Unbeknownst to you, some people in our lives, they don't know how to act right. They've been around a lot of people that have let them act really wrong. And so they have normalized dysfunction. And if you are out of that season and you have a conversation with them and you invite them to also normalize function and not dysfunction, then they can't say that you didn't know. They can't say that they didn't know and you didn't tell them. So many times we want to assume that someone who cares for us will know how to care for us. They will know how to love us. That is an erroneous assumption. It really, truly is. I'm not saying that gives anybody a pass to treat you poorly, because again, no one has the right to treat you anyway, but well, I think now y'all can probably like finish the sentence for me. No one has the right to treat you anyway, but well. But let's stop listening to people and experts and coaches and whatever that want to tell us that, oh, well, the person that loves you, they'll know how to love you. No, they won't. They won't. They may have been with people whose love language, thank you, my dear. I appreciate you so much. Exactly. But they may have been loving people that wanted gifts their whole life, and then they meet you and you're a words of affirmation person. They may not know what to do with that because they may not have grown up in a house where you communicate and emote your feelings positively. So not only do they have to learn how to love you and to work within the framework of your love language, right, in a healthy sense of the word, but they also have to learn how to release the trauma that allowed that to be the case for them in the first place. There's a lot going on here, people. Do not misunderstand how partnership develops listening to people who are telling you everybody is toxic. They are not, though we can all be. Everybody is not a narcissist, though we can all be narcissistic in our behaviors. But if that's all, listen, if somebody is telling you that, somebody is a bad person, okay, because they didn't call you at 12 o'clock, they called you at 12:01. These are extremes, ladies and gentlemen. This is why, and I'm another shout out to Open Door Hypnosis, because this is why you need to get in tune with your own intuition and your own discernment. Because then somebody can't tell you that your relationship is trash. And you're like, oh my goodness, I wasn't even thinking that, but maybe so. No, then you can't have sour water poured into you because you're using your own discernment. You're not thirsty for anybody's information. Remember, thirsty people drink anything. Don't be parched. Don't do that. Okay. Anywho, I think that's all I have to say about that. Any questions, comments, concerns? Anything? I do want to give a brief shout out to Kanisha, which is my hair. Somehow she decided that today, despite me going to bed with my hair pulled back, she has decided to emerge with a full 90s flip. Like this is what she gave me today. And I was like, is there something you need to tell me? Because I'm like, me and my hair have a very interesting conversation pretty much daily. And I'm like, are things about to get flipped? Is something flipping around? Like, is this a message? Because I'm still like, really? You just went full 90s flip on me. That's what you did. So listen. So hopefully something I said was helpful. Like I said, I don't have much more to say than that. But listen, at the end of the day, if you think that you're being mistreated, really, you've always got options. You've always got options. You can talk to the person about it and see how they respond. You can talk to yourself and see how you respond. There's always a conversation to be had, be it with yourself and going within, which I always recommend, or without and talking to the person that's involved in the situation. But don't let people tell you the conclusion and put a period on something where you can actually put a semicolon or a comma. That's what I really want to say to you. But again, if you catch this live, thank you so much. #live in the comments. And if you catch it on the replay, you are still welcome to like, to comment, to share, and eventually, maybe you'll subscribe. Thank you so much, Open Door Hypnosis and Shara. Shara Prophet. Amazing work that she's doing over there. Thank you so much, 𝗃𝗏, for being here, for all of your support, and just the way that you've been a definite safe space and an inspiration. But yeah, I'm going to be live every week. Next month, we're going to change. I'm not going to do daily content. I'm so sorry. I know you're like, but I'm not going to do daily content because you should have enough videos on the channel to Steph Flicks and Chill. So because you'll be able to do that, we're going to slow down a little bit. There are some new things I want to introduce to you guys, starting with Friday, the visual lesson. I hope you like it. But by all means, do me this favor and drop your comments, drop a like. Make sure you share this if you found it to be meaningful. That would mean the most to me. And like I said, if our relationship keeps going and you want a deeper commitment, maybe at some point you will hit the subscribe button and you'll tap that bell. Nevertheless, my name is Stephanie D. McKenzie, and I'm a speaker, teacher, author, and coach, here to remind you to always be your own superhero. And as I always do, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for loving and learning with me. Have a beautiful night. Bye. Oh, I can do a little bit better than that, can I? Right? I think I can. You ready? Let's go.